Welcome guys, Maxim Grunin at Maxim Grunin Art. Let's do a painting of a cloudscape. It's 24 inches by 18 inches canvas. I'm using acrylic paint, and this first session is all about starting and blocking in. So we have a white canvas, and I got a spray bottle. I got primary colors, yellow, red, and blue, and I have white. And later on I'm gonna get a little bit of black out to help me make some really dark purples. But it is a lot more helpful to understand the painting language than to just copy the photograph without the strategy that I'm introducing. So starting for me and for the school of art that I went to, starting to paint, it means to block in major components, visual components. Those are light, mid-tone, and dark information, as well as color information. That's my goal here. So I identified one of the largest areas of similar color that is similar in tone. It's just this kind of blue, and I created a vertical shape that looks like this, and then I went to build the next large shape that I identified on the picture that I'm looking at. And the picture is just a picture of a cloudscape. Lots of beautiful clouds in the sky above the ocean or body of water. At this point though, it means nothing to me. So there's no ocean, there's no clouds in my mind. There is identifying of large masses. So do you see how I identified and built this blue, purple, and now a bit lighter blue, large mass of that blue? And what is that? That's the shadows within the objects. This is the shadow and the color information of the major area in the painting. And then the shapes of these things are also important. You can see that on the bottom there is like an indication that there is a darker stripe, then that's gonna be the water, and then there is a gradient within the sky to like things. The way I'm applying, the way I'm placing paint in is the paint is wet, and it's possible to blend it really nicely like this, and to do quite a bit fairly efficiently. So as I am blocking this large shapes of color and light and dark information, I'm also like adjusting how the gradient and how softness of areas that are adjacent. Like I painted this color and then I carefully adjusted it to the formation of clouds, and that dark shape on the right is gonna be the shadow with the formation of the clouds, and the bottom portion of that formation has this more purpley and kind of horizontal type of formation. So that's so I'm staying within the major shadow and mid-tone areas, and I am just resolving all my darker blue and purple areas, and I'm moving I'm getting some of the lighter information as well. There's while the palette is clean and I'm working with the blue, I will make the sky while everything is not yet contaminated with like yellow or whatever. Then the blue is gonna start getting greener, and so just like efficiency is important. And now I went back with a bit more variations of blue, and there was still some white canvas showing through in this area that I'm painting. So I went and I like covered it more, and then I'm now creating lighter shades of blue, and I am more carefully constructing this entire shape of the mass of dark within the clouds formation. And I'm like wanting to set up a distinct shape. So you see that there's quite of a distinct shape kind of thing happening there. Now I just mixed a little bit of black in with blue and red and a tiny bit of white to create an even darker purple, because it wasn't as dark as I wanted it, as I needed it to be. So I needed a bit of black, and so I added the dark to the bottom stripe, and then I immediately mixed a transition color to place above that, and then I went back and I took the darker color onto the brush, and I softened the connection between the lighter purple and the darker purple, because soft edge is characteristic of human visual perception. That's how we see things. If you look around, there is nothing really has a distinct sharp edge. Everything gets a bit fuzzy and soft when the edges are adjacent. So it's a visual relationship. It's soft edge. It's called soft edge. And hard edge in painting means oftentimes in abstraction, sometimes in architecture, sometimes in sculpture. But for 2D art like painting or 2D painting, hard edge, when there is no blending or softness between the adjacent areas, produces a fairly abstract and unnatural, or extra natural way of, it's really sharp. And I am painting a natural view of that I'm wanting there to be reference to nature. So I'm using soft edge, and most of the time the soft edge is used in painting. So now that most of the big chunks, masses of dark and mid-tone are in, and they have a distinct amount of how much space they cover and what shape they look like, that there's this vertical shape at the top, there are a couple of horizontal shapes at the bottom, there's some mid-tone, there are some brush strokes. Now I am bringing some indication of lighter information. This next addition might appear a little lighter than it actually is, and then it's gonna dry. It's more pink, it's more purpley pink than white in reality, and I'll try to show you up close later what it looks like. But it still works. Do you see that I am pretty much building the notion of continuous area of light that sits on the edge of the cloud formation. So, you know, now I've built the shadows. Now I'm building the midtones and the light. And I am not doing any details at this point. It's called blocking in. Starting everything is gonna get to a point of, as carefully as well as possible, blocked in. And that well blocked in painting will give me the edge to create details over that. Because I can make a much better overall assessment of the entirety of the composition of light and dark and color information within my artwork if I move from greater overall qualities. It gives like a unified, uniformed look to the whole thing. I can see the main shapes within my entire painting, and then once I establish those main shapes and block them in with as carefully as possible, you know, create the color variants, adjust them, soft edge, connect them, you know, create beautiful looking and simply blocked in, like almost an abstract piece like that. When that comes about, when I connect the dots of these big shapes of dark, mid-tone, light, and the color information, major color information, then I can right away make an educated guess. I can assess, I can say, oh, great, I got most of my shapes in, and now I can just focus on bringing some detail into them. So that's, you know, really clearly, I just want you to familiarize yourself with just being able to translate a picture or idea or whatever it is that you're painting. Let's say if you're painting a cloudscape, I would like you to try to translate your image of reference into a really, really broad, blocked in start like this. And then we'll move to the next stage of that, and we'll see how it all works out. And a lot of you already know this, and still you will be discovering some you know, you could see how I distribute mid-tone information, and you would be like, okay, you know, what am I doing right now? I am using mid-tone blue within a darker blue shape to start to block in like mid-size characteristics of mid-size cloud shapes that will be happening there. I am really wanting to figure out what the look of all of that is gonna be. Like, I don't want to really chance too much. I want to have a really clear, really satisfying form to each and every component of the painting. So the foundation is being set with this start. The foundation of light and dark, the foundation of all of the colors that will be predominantly used. And then once I carefully adjust everything, create some notion that, oh, that's how far the light is gonna go within the cloud formation. Oh, you know, at the top the light is gonna be colored more white, and as it lowers down there's gonna be orange and yellow, and the cloud shadows. The bottom portion has got a different type of cloud formation. It's a horizontal one, and the top portion is going to have a wild kind of column vertical type of formation. So I really, as clearly as possible, demonstrated it. And now I am even bringing in some of the almost like the lightest area and like a punchline, like focal point, or one of the focal points, like the most contrasty area there. That's gonna be somewhere at the top there. And here is a palette and the piece up close, and you can see that. Do you see what I was saying, that wasn't a white I was using? It's kind of pinkish a little bit, so it dried, and now we can see that it is. And as we are looking at the picture now, you can already, it's possible already to envision that there's gonna be all the stuff happening there. So there it is, starting blocking in cloudscape.